Finishing up on the Zenith here, I replaced all the capacitors, all the paper capacitors except for one. You can see it down in here. This just goes from the AM antenna connector to ground, so there's basically no voltage on it. So I don't see any reason to replace it. Even if it is leaky, it doesn't matter. And I don't want to dig around in here next to the switch here with all these wires going in this coil here. If you move around the wires in the FM circuit, then you have to realign it because that's how sensitive they are to parasitic capacitance. So even moving like two wires closer together will increase the parasitic capacitance between those two wires, and you have to realign it. Another note, the little brown things that come out of the cabinet, hold on. So these little things that fell out of the cabinet when we first took it out, those are actually the, basically they're like plastic nuts to hold, when you screw the screws in the bottom of the cabinet to hold the chassis, and those screws go into these. So that way, since this is a hot chassis set, that way the screw heads aren't electrified in case you would reach around and touch one of them. So that's what these are. They were broken off. I glued them back on. There's actually supposed to be 4, supposed to be 2 on each side. I only have 2, so I just put them diagonal from each other, and that should hold it in sufficiently. I mean, this is going to sit on a shelf. It's not going to be subjected to massive forces. So, also that sound that we had before that sounded like it might be silver mica disease turned out to just be a dirty grid cap connection, or plate cap, whatever it is, the cap on the double diode triode, I think. Alright, so it's a triple diode triode. This tube here, whatever the cap is, looks like a good cap for the triode. There was a dirty connection here, and that's what the that sound was. So after I cleaned this up, it sounds pretty good now. So I'm gonna put this back together. I did refinish the cabinet. It didn't turn out as well as I was hoping it would with the missing veneer, but it'll be sufficient. So I'm gonna put this back together and see how it sounds. I forgot to mention I did repair the speaker using a coffee filter, and this is some of that cupcake paper. It sounds pretty good. It's maybe not audiophile quality, but compared to how it was before, it's definitely a whole lot better. And you can listen to the radio. It sounds pretty good on that. If you turn the volume up, it like way up, it gets a little distorted, but for just regular listening, it should do fine. Alright, so we got the Zenith back in the cabinet. As you can see, the veneer replacement didn't match as well as I was hoping. Before I put fresh lacquer on, it looked like a pretty close match, but once I put the lacquer on, the wood here got a much deeper red than that had looked before, and then I had stained this. So it's better than it was, but it's still pretty obvious what was replaced. I just used some of this strip veneer, just a little strip intended for gluing on like the edge of something. Probably what would have been the best thing to do here would be to strip all of the finish off the remaining veneer on the front and then paint everything with toner lacquer. But I didn't want to do that because of these decals here. I didn't want to lose those. There's the decals here and then one on the other side for the tone. So I couldn't strip everything off the front to lose the decals. So this is about as best as I could do. I mean, it doesn't look too terrible, but it is obvious. Anyway.
Frank Thatcher and friends at Lawchunk Opera House. That's it for WWH concert.
Shadows dance without you for the first time. My heart is open. You walk right in tonight and tell me that.
It doesn't pull in quite as many as the C730, but this is a much earlier design, and this also uses an 8.3 megahertz IF, which I understand didn't have quite as good performance as the normal 10.7, which I developed later on. But it sounds pretty good on the stations it does pull in. Try AM.
Absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. So call now. Saying about PLO's diplomatic office in our nation's capital.
Who's managing the pay system?
I think that's where the big difference is between the public and the private sector.
That's where they'll put it in play first and 10. And let's see if Troy Apke comes out for Penn State. He is. He's out there. Kabinda, Smith, and Farmer the line.
More sunshine and nice afternoon with
Well, this does have a directional antenna in the back, so it does matter which way the radio is facing. So, not too bad. FM sounds good. And try FM 45 just for fun. Although I'm sure there's nothing here. Or at least nothing we can pick up on this. Oh, there might be something there, maybe a digital channel or something. Anyway. Alright, that is the 1946 Zenith 8H034. It's working pretty good. The cabinet could use a little help. I need to get a dial glass, and I'll have to see. Try and think of something else to do about this veneer mismatch here. But anyway, it's definitely usable. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.